There is a principle which is a bar against all information, which is proof against all arguments, and which cannot fail to keep a man in everlasting ignorance. That principle is contempt prior to investigation. Well, that quote from Herbert Spencer fits closely with the recent happenings in BC. Lately, there's been a number of protests against schools providing information on sexual orientation and gender diversity. Now, at the same time, thousands turned out in counter-protest to those who want the program removed. Sitting at the core of it all is a program known as SOGI, S-O-G-I, which is an acronym for sexual orientation and gender identity. Now, what's interesting is that BC doesn't have a SOGI curriculum. What is in place is a resource, SOGI 123, that was introduced in 2016 and has been endorsed by the Department of Education and 3 political parties, with only the BC Conservatives dissenting. I'm giving you the link to SOGI 123 right now so that those who don't watch this video to the end will still see the link and be able to do their own research. I'll also include a link in the description on YouTube. Now that said, I encourage you to finish watching this video. After all, you're here for the information it contains, right? Now there's a lot of disinformation and misinformation about this program being spread both throughout social media and within our communities. Now, in my experience, the possibility of falsehoods and inaccuracies being touted increases in direct correlation to the amount of fear, anger, and hatred being displayed by the person giving the information, regardless of which side of the discussion they're on. Now, disinformation is created by people wanting to encourage anger and hatred, and is then spread as misinformation by those who are ready to accept that which they already believe without taking the time to confirm its veracity. Personally, I think that's part of human nature, but that still doesn't make it right. Now, hey, don't get me wrong here. Been there, done that. Like anybody else, I've been guilty of accepting something just because I liked the way it sounded. However, at some point during my 72 revolutions around the sun, it hit me. I really need to do my own research. So, back to the question at hand. SOGI. Now, as I said earlier, there isn't a curriculum. It's really only a guide to helping with the problem of discrimination and bullying. It's an aid in creating an inclusive and supportive environment for LGBTQ students and others with varying genders and sexual orientations. It's not a program that teaches anything sexual at all. It has materials that can be used to ensure that age-appropriate information is being provided as a matter of everyday language and behaviors towards those who may be LGBTQ or are gender diverse. It's all about accepting others as they are, not about changing the individual into someone they're not. I'm curious about how many of the protesters have actually contacted their school or school board to see if their school even includes SOGI. How many have actually looked into what SOGI is? I overheard a news broadcast the other day where a child said, "They're trying to make us gay." Now, this kind of information makes a child afraid to go to school, and it's nowhere near being accurate. So no, nobody is trying to turn students gay or talk them into changing genders. Anything you see or hear to the contrary is incorrect and patently false. All SOGI offers is age-appropriate information that there are people of differing sexual orientations and gender identities, as well as the fact that there are different kinds of families and that no one should be bullied or not accepted simply because they're different. Now think about it. There's families with both mom and dad. There's single parent families, families with two dads, families with two moms, and really whatever other combinations may arise. They're still families. And that said, the demands of one type of family do not in any way supersede the rights of others. The same as the beliefs of one person or group do not negate the rights of an individual. And, hey, everyone has a sexual orientation and gender identity. We may not all have the same orientation or identity, but we are all entitled to being treated respectfully and without discrimination. Gender identity and expression are protected under the BC Human Rights Code, so it makes sense that we all, children included, ought to learn to be inclusive. Now, some people have raised the idea of parental rights. This is a really difficult area and must be handled with great care, partly because some who raise the question of parental rights have really just appropriated the term in order to create a populist movement. And for some politicians, the term is simply performative, and by doing so, they've blurred the true meaning of the term. Now, that said, while we all, as parents, want to know what's going on with our kids, please consider that not all children whose sexual orientation or gender identity is different from what their parents believe are safe in letting the parents know. Some could be in real danger if their truth were to come out. Now, it's critically important to keep all kids safe. The bottom line, I guess, for me, is that sexual orientation and gender identity are not contagious. But intolerance and hate both are. SOGI is not about indoctrination, it's about acceptance, inclusion, and safety. As I said earlier, there's a link to SOGI 123 in the description below if you're watching this on YouTube. Hey, contact your kid's school and school district and ask them directly if, and if so, how SOGI is being implemented. Now, I implore you, do your research. Don't simply jump on either bandwagon. Whatever you decide, after gathering accurate information, hey, at least it'll be an informed choice. I look forward to seeing your comments. While you're at it, and while you're here, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and then hit that bell so you're notified when new videos are uploaded. In the meantime, stay safe and enjoy your day. I'm wishing you peace, health, and harmony. Bye for now.